Construe. To interpret the meaning of something in a particular way. Her words could hardly be construed as an apology. Peruse. To read something, especially in a cautious way. A copy of the document is available for you to peruse at your leisure. Condone. To accept bad behavior that is morally wrong. Violence can never be condoned. Latent. Existing, but not yet clear, active or well developed. These athletes have a huge reserve of latent talent. Acrimonious. Mad and full of strong, bitter feelings. His parents went through an acrimonious divorce. Masquerade. Behaving in a way that hides the truth, or a person's true feelings. He was tired of the masquerade, and wanted the truth to come out. Salient. Most important, or easy to notice. He reviewed the salient points. Embroil. To involve yourself in an argument, or a difficult situation. He became embroiled in a dispute with his boss. Languish. To be forced to suffer something unpleasant for a long time. She continues to languish in prison. Aspersions. Critical remarks or judgments. I wouldn't want to cast aspersions on your honesty. Sedulous. Displaying great care and effort in your work. He displays a sedulous attention to detail. Encumber. To make it difficult for somebody to do something. The police operation was encumbered by crowds of reporters. Effusion. The act of flowing out. Conversational effusion isn't always a good quality on a first date. Waffle. To have difficulty making a decision. The politician was accused of waffling on major issues. Intrepid. Very brave, not afraid of danger or difficulties. Pioneers often proved themselves to be intrepid explorers. Mores. The customs that are considered typical of a particular social group. Musicians are often blamed for a steady decline in sexual mores. Disheveled. Very untidy. He looked tired and disheveled. Sumptuous. Looking very impressive. It was a sumptuous meal. Reciprocate. To behave towards somebody in the same way as they behave towards you. They wanted to reciprocate the kindness that had been shown to them. Infallible. Never wrong, never making mistakes. No one is infallible. Dissident. A person who strongly disagrees with and criticizes their government. Dissidents were often imprisoned by the security police. Dispatch. To send somebody or something somewhere for a special purpose. Troops have been dispatched to the area. Intransigence. Unwillingness to change your behavior or opinions. Negotiations collapsed in the face of managerial intransigence. Pastoral. Related to the countryside. The farm was a pastoral scene. Concede. To admit that something is true. He was forced to concede that there might be difficulties. Manifold. Many, of many different types. The possibilities were manifold. Punitive. Intended as punishment. Punitive action will be taken against the rioters. Nonplussed. Surprised and confused, speechless. Branson seemed a little nonplussed at Ellie's refusal. Salacious. Encouraging sexual desire, or containing too much sexual detail. The papers concentrated on some salacious aspects of the case. Behove. Right, or necessary for somebody to do something. It behoves us to study these findings carefully. Vulpine. Like a fox. He showed his vulpine grin. Premise. A statement, or an idea that forms the basis for a reasonable line of argument. The argument rests on a false premise. Demise. The end, or failure of an institution, an idea, a company, etc. He praised the Union's aims, but predicted its early demise. Megalomania. A strong feeling that you want to have more and more power. His bad personality is due to megalomania. Asinine. Stupid or silly. Her asinine excuse seemed ridiculous. Surfeit. An amount that is too large. Indigestion can be brought on by a surfeit of fatty food. Reputable. Having a good reputation. The car salesman was a reputable dealer. Oblique. Not expressed, or done in a direct way. She made an oblique reference to her ex-boyfriend. Jeopardize. To risk harming, or destroying something, or somebody. He would never do anything to jeopardize his career. Impudence. Rude behavior. I've had enough of your impudence. Desolate. empty, and without people, making you feel sad or frightened. They looked out on a bleak and desolate landscape. Ballast. Heavy material placed in a ship to make it heavier and keep it steady. The ballast keeps the ship steady. Disperse. To move apart and go away in different directions. The fog began to disperse. Phase. To confuse or shock someone. She wasn't fazed by his comments. Compunction. A guilty feeling about doing something. He lied to his parents without compunction. Complacency. A feeling of being satisfied with yourself or with a situation. Despite signs of an improvement in the economy, there is no room for complacency. Caliber. The quality of something, especially a person's ability. He was impressed by the high caliber of applicants for the job. Entreat. To ask somebody to do something in a serious and often emotional way. Please help me, I entreat you. Dissection. The act of studying something closely. Your enjoyment of a novel can suffer from too much analysis and dissection. Antiquated. Old-fashioned, and no longer suitable for modern conditions. The antiquated heating system barely heats the larger rooms. Anguish. Severe physical or mental pain. He groaned in anguish. Effeminate. Looking, behaving, or sounding like a woman. He is an effeminate man. Enmity. Feelings of hate towards somebody. Personal enmities have injured relations within the department. Epoch. A period of time in history. The death of the king marked the end of an epoch in the country's history. Intrinsic. Belonging to, or part of the real nature of something. These tasks were repetitive, lengthy, and lacking any intrinsic value. Quotidian. Ordinary, typical of what happens every day. Their quotidian existence is tiring. Hazardous. Involving risk, or danger, especially to somebody's safety. They endured a hazardous journey through thickening fog. Peregrination. A long, slow journey. The character in the book wandered through strange lands during his peregrination. Attenuate. To make something weaker, or less effective. The drug attenuates the effects of the virus. Unravel. To unwind threads that are twisted, woven, or knitted. I unraveled the string, and wound it into a ball. Behemoth. Something that is very big and powerful. Your dog is a behemoth. Impeccable. Without mistakes or faults. Her written English is impeccable. Jaded. Tired and bored. I felt terribly jaded after working all weekend. Figurative. Different from the usual meaning, in order to create a particular mental picture. He exploded with rage, shows a figurative use of the verb explode. Relic. An object, a tradition, a system, etc., that has survived from the past. The building stands as the last remaining relic of the town's manufacturing industry. Wreak. To do great damage or harm to somebody or something. The country's policies would wreak havoc on the economy. Utopia. A place in which everything is perfect. Utopia does not exist in the real world. Vegetative. Alive, but showing no sign of brain activity. The stroke victim is in a vegetative state. Infringe. To break a law or rule. The material can be copied without copyright infringing. Subtlety. Not being obvious in one's actions. It's a thrilling movie even though it lacks subtlety. Epitaph. Words that are written or said about a dead person. His epitaph read, "A just and noble citizen." Grisly. Extremely unpleasant and frightening. It was a grisly murder scene. Libido. Sexual desire. The man worried about his loss of libido. Epitome. A perfect example of something. He is the epitome of a modern man. Topple. To become unsteady and fall down, to make something fall down. The pile of blocks toppled over. Morose. Unhappy, in a bad mood, and not talking very much. He just sat there, looking morose. Impalpable. That which cannot be felt physically. The mosquito was impalpable as it continued to bite the child. Gratuitous. Done without any reason, and often having harmful effects. It was a completely gratuitous insult, which her friend apologized for. Opaque. Not clear enough to see through, or allow light through. The shower door was opaque. Post-mortem. A medical examination of the body of a dead person. They are doing a post-mortem on him today. Eclectic. not following one style or set of ideas. She has very eclectic tastes in music. Delve. To reach inside a bag, container, etc., to search for something. She delved in her purse for a pen. Studious. Spending a lot of time studying or reading. He liked to wear rimmed glasses, which he thought made him look studious. Impel. Feeling as if you are forced to do something. He felt impelled to investigate the matter further. Mannered. Trying to impress people by being formal. His writing style is far too mannered. Peevish. Easily annoyed. Jack was a sickly, peevish old man. Stickler. A person who thinks that a particular type of behavior is very important. Robin is a stickler for punctuality. Adulterate. To make food or drink less pure, by adding another substance to it. The water supply had been adulterated with toxic chemicals from the soil. Deplete. To reduce something by a large amount, so that there is not enough left. Food and water supplies were severely depleted. Nadir. The worst moment of a particular situation. Company losses reached their nadir in 2008. Prelude. A short piece of music, especially an introduction to a longer piece. This is the prelude to Act 2 of the play. Curtail. To limit something, or make it last for a shorter time. Spending on books has been severely curtailed due to the sale of e-books. Tacit. That which is suggested indirectly, or understood, rather than said in words. By tacit agreement, the subject was never discussed again. Abstruse. Difficult to understand. The lawyer made an abstruse argument. Placate. To make somebody feel less angry about something. He saw the anger in her eyes and stepped forward with a placating smile. Iconoclastic. Criticizing popular beliefs, established customs, or ideas. Cult leaders are often iconoclastic. Antithesis. The opposite of something. Love is the antithesis of selfishness. Deference. Behavior that shows that you respect somebody or something. The flags were lowered out of deference to the grieving family. Unwitting. Not aware of what you are doing, or of the situation you are involved in. He became an unwitting accomplice in the serious crime. Brazen. Open, and without shame, usually about something that shocks people. They showed a brazen disregard for the law.